Yeah. So today we will discuss literals initially.
Okay.
So do you have any idea about what is literals in Java?
No.
Right. So this is the basic terms which would be used a lot. So that's why I would like to introduce this.
Please go
So
ahead.
with respect to the primitive types and the string classes, we basically we would be using these terminologies a lot. We normally say literals or literal constant. So if I explain you in a very layman way that what is literal or literal constant, so any specific value we bind with our variable, that is called literal. So say for an example, if I write for an example int x equal to 20. So here comes the two terminologies what I said, a variable. So my integer x is a variable, right? It can hold any kind of value. But once I declare my variable and bind any value with it, it also become literal as well.
Okay.
So meaning to say that okay, this integer x has a value 20. I mean, I have binded the value 20 itself with it. I could have write this way also in Java, int x and semicolon, right? I did not write
Right.
anything. So that is variable only. But when I bind some value with it, that becomes the literal, or it would be frequently used somewhere when you will be hearing string and other things, that string literal and other. So keep in mind just one takeaway with respect to the literal, that whenever we bind anything with respect to our variable straight away, then that becomes literal with respect to the value. Now it has little bit rules as well with it. Say for an example, if I say a literal, it has some meaning as well. We cannot put a wayward value with respect to it. So let me go to the ide itself. Okay, let me create a packages day by day, that will
Yeah,
make
that
more
would be
sense,
good.
right? I can share later on all those.
Okay.
A date second, I did not make anything. Okay. Literal demo. Okay,
Okay.
here is the main method, and say for an example, as I said, int x equal to 10, so that becomes literal for me. Now for an example, if I write a very big value with respect to the int, we already discussed, like let's say big val, say for an example 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2. So this is too much value that the integer cannot accommodate it. We already discussed about the integer things, that it has certain maximum value the other
Right.
day yesterday,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So their
Its
max
capacity is
value
not
was
enough to hold this
right.
value.
Correct. One second. INTE. Okay, spelling mistake. Max value,
I
so
mean,
it is not.
is there a difference between int and integer in Java?
Definitely the difference between int and integer. Int, you can ask me whatever doubt you have anytime. I will try to resolve your confusion that time. This is
Thank you, brother.
primitive.
Okay.
All right, and
Yes.
there is a class itself. See, Java is a pure object oriented programming language. Everything comes inside the class itself. So primitive does not belongs to any class, we can say, in Java. It has natively taken up from the C or C++ languages itself, behind the scene at machine level. So these primitive, whatever the type we see, those are the were not earlier related to the any class, but Java would like to give lot of capabilities other than primitive or value itself. So we're gonna discuss in greater detail with respect to their respective classes. This integer is called wrapper classes. And not only integer, whatever the data type we see, the primitive data types, with respect to that we have a separate wrapper classes as well. So they have so many capabilities. When I will be introducing you the object oriented things and the wrapper classes, I will be doing into the greater detail, but for now whatever the class we have completed with respect to that, yes, to answer your question, we definitely have uh, the separate things. Int and integer are different. Integer is a class while int is a primitive data type.
Okay.
Or we can say it user defined data type. When I say user defined data type means somebody has write this class, like you or me. We are writing this literal demo class, right? So I
Right.
say this is my class. The same way the Java library writer has written integer class. If you want to see any class, just select this class and press, let me write here, control plus shift plus T. It will open the dot class file for you. So if I select this and press Control Shift T, see here. These are packages. I'll introduce what are those packages and other things later on. But you can easily see that Java library writer has written this class. So like we are writing our class, they have written. So this is not only holding the value itself, it has lot of capabilities. You can see the class length is 1500, almost 1600 length class. So there are a lot of capabilities other than the holding the value itself. So we're going to discuss those things later on, why wrapper classes were written. And when I will be discussing, those would be more evident when we would be discussing collection API and other things and conversion.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so for now, just again come back to the literal things itself.
So
So for literal,
for now,
yeah,
just for clarity, int is a primitive data type that comes from C or C++, and integer is a class in Java.
absolutely right. Your
Okay.
understanding is perfect, right? So now when I said int x equal to 10, so that becomes literal for me, right?
So whole
But
number line number 7 is literal. The whole
yeah,
line.
because I binded value with it. Whenever we
Okay.
bind any specific constant value beforehand, I mean at the time of declaration itself for any variable, then that becomes literal. In I mean layman way, or in just a conversation way, a developer community says it, okay, it's a literal. You have defined some literal over here, right? So just you must know about that. That's why I introduced. But
Okay.
it has some rule as well. I mean, we cannot go beyond the boundary. Like integer has the boundary we have already seen, and here I defined more than that value. So it would complain that okay, you cannot define such a constant with it. So those rules are applicable, still applicable, right?
Right.
This one, line number 13 is just whatever we learned earlier, but we cannot say it literal. It would give us a compile time error. Compilers would start complaining straight away. So the way we discuss the literal, and one more thing for the integer, I would like to say right now with respect to the JDK 1.7 onwards. For integer values, they have introduced some special things as well. Say we write lot of things, like I have written so many things, it's hard to predict how much value I have written over here. So what they have done, int aa, if I write, let's say I want to write 10,000, then I can put underscore also with it, just for to make the understanding far more clear. So this becomes far more clarity than this one, right? So
Okay.
they just introduce underscore also. You can write a underscore along with integer as well.
Hmm.
But that has been introduced using from Java's 1.7 onwards, or 7 onwards. In other words, you can say. All right. So this is
Okay.
also, but here one more rule they have given, that we cannot put underscore as a very first line. The meaning to say int s equal to, if I write same thing, but I cannot write like this. If
No,
I'm not
it
wrong,
does
let
not
me
make
check.
sense.
Right, right. It will not make sense. But if I write something two, then it will work. Right. So the first line cannot be underscore. Okay.
Okay.
Just enhancement in, I mean, if you would see this, you would write this line in lower version than JDK7, then might be you would be having the compile time error, but now they have introduced this, so I just update you line by line. All
Okay.
right. So underscore can't come as a first character also. All right. So likewise, I said you about the integer rules. So the same rule is applicable for other data type as well. Consider like, okay, the things I explained, the byte, short, the yesterday we discussed, those also have the same rule. Whenever I'll be writing something with respect to them, then those rule would get applicable for them. Now here comes one couple of tricky things with respect to the long data type. I would like to discuss that the long data type have something special meaning with it. So say for an example, I write int and digit, whatever digit, and I write 123. Okay, sorry, not int, long. My intention to write long. So this is my long data type. There is no confusion within it. But now see, if I write the same thing, long and big digit, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 8 7 6. See here, it started complaining to me, but still this is within a length of long itself. So reason to say, if I draw a diagram for this, what I try to say, this value belongs to this long label. This was not introduced earlier, and its variable name is big digit, right? And
Right.
I'm saying this is very much within a limit of long itself, but still it is giving me compile time error. See here, here red box is here, which says that there is some error, it cannot take it. The reason behind it, whenever we define any kind of literal with respect to the number family or integer family, that by default considered as integer. All right. So beyond, if we go beyond the integer boundary, so this digit is, let's say this is integer boundary limitation. So this digit is way beyond the integer, but within a limit of long. So it's just like this. This is my digit. This is greater than int, if you understand the mathematical equation, and less than the long,
Right.
right? So it becomes greater than the int but less than the long. Then if it start complaining, then we can resolve such type of issues. Many people does not know about it, that it says the issues. We have to append extra l with it to define that, hey, I have defined long, not integer over here. So if I straight away, if I define l, the exception disappears or compile time error disappear. Did you get the meaning of what I try to
So,
convey?
so I guess what you're saying, if we type a whole number, by default, Java is thinking this is an integer value. If we define
Right.
L with it, along with it, then it will be considered as a long value.
Right. So if I could have done it L also here, there is no complaint here. All right.
Right.
And I could have write a small letter or capital letter, both. Both are applicable. If over here, I can write L here also. But normally developer community does not write lowercase L. The reason behind this is many times we get confused that whether I have written
One.
small l or one, right?
Yeah.
One or L,
Yeah.
more or less same
Same.
here.
Yeah.
So to differentiate, it is best practice to write capital L.
Okay.
All right. So small things. Mostly we don't define that much value, so you never come across such type of issues. But would like to just say that whenever you see why it is not working, while this is very much inside the range itself, then we have to explicitly put the L for the long value with respect to our long value. All right, so far so good. Any
Yes, so far
confusion for this?
no confusion. No.
Okay, all right. Now we discuss about the integer literal. Few things about the floating point as well, literal as well. So floating points have two family members, like integer literals have four family members: byte, short, int, and long. This one has we discussed earlier: double
And
and
float.
float.
Yes.
All right. And as I said earlier, for the integer family, the by default was integer. Everything was by default integer. And in this family, by default is double. Okay. So say for an example, this data type also have one glitch. That's why I'm introducing with respect to the literal or floating point. Double D equal to, let's say, 13.5, you write. It did not complain you anything, right?
Right.
But as soon as I write float float f equal to same value or whatever, it will straight away start complaining to me, I don't understand this. So here Java has introduced one thing for the float data type, that whenever you would be defining float, every floating point is considered by default double. If you would like to define float, then you have to explicitly write f, whether it could be small case or capital case, but you have to write at the end f. Now here that rule is not applicable. Whatever we have seen in integer, that for the smaller value, that there was no complaint, but the bigger value there was a complaint. But why they have made it, I don't know. But here is the rule: you have to always define f with respect to the floating point in Java.
Yes.
Okay, you
Okay.
can write small f or capital F. That the rule is rule, like in our languages, maybe Urdu, Hindi, English, we have defined our own rule, that I will be saying apple to these things over here. The same way they have defined their rules, so we have to honor the library writers rule. So that is the rule for the floating point number, or both are fine. Either F or capital F are fine.
Okay.
Okay, so for this literal, we need to additionally define such type of things with respect to this. So these were the small things which I wanted to introduce. Otherwise, there are plenty of more rules, but I don't want to unnecessary spend time and discuss those. Those are the frequently uses things with respect to the development, so would not consume unnecessary time of our class. So now I'm going to discuss the other thing. All right,
Okay.
literal more than enough. Otherwise, wherever the only takeaway for the literal concept, wherever you see with respect to the any variable, the value also, then
Is
think of,
defined.
okay, this is a literal.
Okay.
That's it. And couple of rules we have seen. Okay, long, for the sake of simplicity, if you will always put L at the end, then you would not be into any trouble if you don't want to remember the further rules. And for the float, we have to put the F at the
F.
end of the digit,
Yes.
right? Otherwise that will not work.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the rules of literals. Now moving on to the other concept. Now we will discuss the arithmetic operators. Okay, let's declare, let's write the new class. Okay, all right. So we know arithmetic operations, a lot of things we already know, that arithmetic operation is like plus, minus, multiplication, and division. This, so no need to spend time. I mean, you must know that we would like to add few couple of variable, then we use plus for subtraction, minus, multiplication,
Yes, sir.
multiply, and
That's
for
right.
division. But one
Yes.
arithmetic operator I would like to introduce, so would not like to spend much time with respect to these variables as of now. Mm, okay, couple of things, but I would still like to discuss with respect to the division and other things. Let's say, for an example, I write 1 straight away with an example itself. So if I write 1 divide by 2, what should be an output according to you?
0.5.
Okay, so that is a problem over here. So one rule, keep in mind, whenever you see something like this, integer divide by integer or integer operated by integer, we would always get output as integer only. Now when we see here 0.5, this is not an integer value, right?
No.
Correct. So in Java it will convert into the integer, so it will give you only 0, not 0.5.
Hmm?
So we have to keep in mind it will not convert, because 0.5 is something like double or float, right? Or in by
Right.
default it's double. So it will not convert it. Behind the scene at machine level, if you try to divide something and floating point value comes, then eventually that turned out to be into the integer value itself. So you have to be really careful. Okay, I did not save it. Let's see here, 0 comes as an output, right? Did you observe the
Okay.
0?
I see there are 0.
Yeah, okay. But so if you see such type of cases, then you know that the floating point value, suppose you need a floating point output itself, so you have to define point 0.0 with it or make it double. We can write double as a 1.0 and 2.0. So what gonna happen? Double slash double, double divide by double would become double only. So now this will give you the correct answer, 0.5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, so when you are sure that okay, you need an absolute answer and your input are clear to you that okay, so such type of cases, when we make any program, when user would be giving us some value and we are performing the division operation, so now developer has to be smart enough, they have to take a data type as a double only, right? Just try to
Right.
think as a developer's head. So I can think of okay, the I don't know, I'm not taking, I'm creating some method, I'll be discussing those things later on, but those values are provided by some other users, so I do not have control on that. Then there might be a chance, if I will be taking a integer data type, then the output could be different, right, or incorrect. So we have to smart enough, we have to take, rather take double data type or correct data type, so that the output could be always correct one, right? We
Right.
would, if we would have done it 2.0 and 2.0, then that's fine, 1.0 it gives, that is perfectly fine, but output is still correct. But I would not go ahead with integer approach with respect to that. So small thing, but we have to keep in mind that whenever we perform any operation with respect to the any data type, that would get converted into that data type only. So integer divide by integer would get converted into the integer only. So
Okay.
those things we have to pay special attention while dealing with those things. All right.
Okay.
Now one special operator is there, percentage, or we say it modulo. Have you ever heard the modulus operator?
Mm, Modulus is what? The remainder?
Absolutely right. Right. Reminder. So modulus is also been heavily used. Say for an example, sys out, and I write, let's say anything, 5 divided by 2. So what should be an output according to you?
Uh, 0.4.
Not 0.4, 2 divided by 5. Integer reminder is how much?
Oh, 3.
Okay, let me do here. I come here, I divide 2 by 5. So 2
4.
to ja, right? 2 to ja
2
4, reminder 1, right?
remainder 1. Yeah.
So what would be an output? 1,
1.
correct?
Yes.
Just a division, and up till we would be dividing, the value we can multiply easily. So 2 to
Brother,
ja
I,
4,
I
and
I have to tell you, I love your explanation. Very good.
okay.
You can
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
it to the
No, to me, no question is silly question. We don't know, we don't know. That's
right.
okay, right?
Yes.
So never be hesitant that, oh, this much is very silly question. Should I ask or not? No, nobody. You can
Okay.
ask anything.
Good.
There might be a chance. I also don't know. I can search it out for you, and let you know if
No
possible. But
problem. Yes.
go ahead, and you can ask anytime anything, at least with respect to these programming related things. And not only Java, I have an expertise. You are beginner, so you don't know the Python and big data and so many things, AWS, and lot of things. I have good experience.
Man, those are all Chinese for me.
Okay. So let's start with one programming language. That would be far
Yes.
more better to have a
Right.
good hands-on hold on one programming language. Then the other things would be just piece of cake for you.
All right.
Okay, so now moving on to this. So the modulus, you must know about. So many times, okay, somebody asked me, okay, we know the reminders comes here, but sometimes people ask me during class, so what is the practical use case of modulus? I don't know where I supposed to use this modulus operation. See, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction is straight away anybody can think of, but how come I know practically that which program I have to apply the modulus logic? So to answer that question is that is pretty much simple. Whenever there are many use cases, but one use case I would like to coin right now. If you have a problem statement that is a number is even, right?
Okay.
So if I would like to find out whether the given number is even or not, so I what can I do? If I divide that number with 2, then if reminder is 0, then I can have a surety that this is the even number. Say for an example, I come here and I would like to know about the even number rule, right? Even. So let's say 4, and I'm dividing 2 equal to 4, right? 6 divided by 2, so whole number 3. So can I say, if I turn, or 8 divided by 2 becomes the 4, or one more thing I introduce here, 9 divided by 2 will not give me the absolute number, right? There would be one reminder. It will not, we cannot divide thoroughly 9 divided by 2, right? One reminder would be there. So can
Yes.
I use the modulo operation over here, like 4 modulo 2, and if it becomes 0, right? If it
All right.
is perfectly divided, then it would be becoming 0. So this is even number. 6 modulo 2 equal to 0. Yes, I can divide it, so it is even number, right?
All
But
right.
if I apply this rule, 9 modulo 2, then this is not 0, right? This is 1, so it become odd. So such type of logic, when wherever we have to check whether the provided number is even or odd, this modulo operations comes into the rescue. A lot of time it is being used.
So
All
I
right,
guess
one
what
of
you're saying is not very often. It's
right.
okay.
But it is very useful operator as well. Sometime we need it, like the case I said, even and odd number, and plenty of other use cases as well, but I just wanted to let you know the one of those. Otherwise, lot of other mathematical things, but we don't want to go into such type of detail. But keep in mind that, okay, modulus operation operator is over there, and it is its use case is it returns us the reminder, and this reminder is useful in the cases when, okay, I would like to get the odd even related things and all, then it can comes into the rescue for us.
Okay.
So far so good. Any question?
No question so far.
All right, let's move on with the other rule. Now, one more very interesting rules we can discuss, the rules of precedence. So I'll be explaining while writing the code itself, so you would get easy understanding. Now, what is rule of precedence? Let me write one statement and ask you the answer. Let's say I write 1 plus 2 and multiply by 3. What should be an output of this?
3 times 3 is 9.
3 times 3 is 9.
Oh, no,
Now
no.
let,
No, this is so you do 6 because multiplication comes first. So 6 plus 1, 7 should be 7.
yeah, you know somewhat precedence rule, right?
Yeah,
6
yeah.
plus 1,
We learned
right?
this long time ago, maybe like 20 years ago, man.
Okay, all right, but it is okay. So you still remember, that's good. So
Yeah.
couple of rules I would like to write for the precedent. So highest precedence on number 1, I write a parenthesis. Parenthesis is have the highest. Now what is parenthesis? Parenthesis is bracket,
Right.
something like this. Why why we have this rule? Let's say for an example, no, I want the addition first, then multiplication. There might be a chance someone has this requirement, right? So how to
Right.
do that? If you apply parenthesis with respect to this, then it would have the highest precedence, right? So now what gonna happen? 1 plus 2 would get resolved first, so it would become 3, and then 3 would be multiplied with 3, so 3 into 3, 9,
Right.
right? If I run it, it becomes 9,
Mhm.
right? This one. Now, so that was the first rule. Now here comes the second rule. Now plus minus, these have the equal precedence, and if we need to judge it, when we define plus and minus, it goes from left to right, left to right. Whatever we have written left and to the right, it will be evaluated in that way. So meaning to say that I have written only, let's say, this thing. Okay, so one second, one parenthesis I forgot to apply. So how it will evaluate? Plus and minus have the equal precedence. Both sit at the equal place with respect to the precedence. Or if I draw the things for plus and minus,
So it should be from
both
left to
in
right.
right. So it just like this. I can create such type of things. One, this is runner, okay, and this is second position, and this is third
Okay.
position. So first position sits the parenthesis, then plus and minus both have the equal precedence, and then star and divide both have this equal precedence. So whenever you will write like this, 1 plus 2 minus 3, then it would be evaluated from left to right straight away. It would add up 1 plus 2 first, then 3 minus 3 equal to 0, something
Right.
like this. All right, if I would have written something like this, one second, 1 minus 2 and plus 1, small value. So what it will do, it will return minus 1, then plus 1, so it will become 0 here, right? So left to right,
Yes.
it would not I mean, it says okay, both are honored for me, both I consider as the same privileged person, so I'll go from left to right if it in any expression they find the similar kind of value. But if something happens like earlier, like I write 1 plus 2 multiply by 3, so such type plus and multiply also comes, then it becomes the higher precedence.
Yes.
This is a second number, this is a first runner up, this is second runner up. So it would get evaluated first. It has higher order than the plus minus. That's why 3 multiplied by 2 happen first and then plus 1 and 7 occurs. Or even we would like to, no, I want to make this person winner. Then what I can do, I can apply parenthesis with it. So parenthesis 1 plus 2, then multiply by 3. So in that way it would won, and now the answer will come 9. Did you get the point?
I get the
Whatever
point. Yes.
right? So that
Yes.
is a rule of precedence. One must know. Many time we come across such type of things. All right.
Okay, fine.